I just to talk about the posting of drivers, of Romanian drivers in Europe, because this is a political debate around the right of the free circulation of the labor force in Europe. And I would like to draw your attention on several issues which concern the trade unions and NGOs in Romania. So the posted workers are paid with a minimum salary in Romania and with a daily allowance which is negotiable in a range of 36 to 60 euros a day. This negotiation is finishing with an additional act to the labor contract. But because of this arrangement, because of the minimum salary, the posted workers would receive, in case of illness or unemployment, very small amounts. This daily allowance it's not including the overtime, the night shifts the workers, the drivers are doing. And it's decreasing if the gas consumption exceeds the arbitrarily determined average. So in the end, a driver will never know what will be the final amount he would be paid for months. In the same time, the daily allowance is paid together with the salary, which means at the end of the period of work. So the driver has to pay himself all the expenses he has during his trip. The posted workers in the field of transportation have many risks concerning their health. They don't always receive the health and safety training or a proper health and safety training. They don't receive working equipments. They are using forklift equipments without a proper authorization. They transport garbage from a country to another, but they don't receive single-use overalls, gloves, masks. They work long hours. In spite of the fact that in their labor contracts it is mentioned that they are working only 8 hours a day, they very often work up to 15, 16, 18 hours a day. This working time puts them at several risks for their health. They are very stressed, they have problems with their spinal cord. In the same time, they have to renew their certifications each 4 years. These certifications are costly and very often are paid by the drivers, not by the companies. They work for 6 months without any breaks, and then they make a break for 3 weeks when they come home, and then they go back for another 6 months in Europe. They are traveling from a country to another without seeing their families. very lately, because of the controls made by European countries, they receive false documents showing a certain level of a salary or um, they have also problems, communication problems with the police. They are very often fined by the local police. They don't have good conditions for hygiene, they sleep in their cars, they don't have parking lots which are protected. They suffer accidents on the road or labor accidents. Sometimes they don't benefit from health care because the companies didn't pay the health insurances. They don't have private insurances for health and accident. Sometimes they use a tachograph card of somebody else, and if there is a labor accident, the accident cannot be declared because and there is a lot of pressure from the companies to accept bigger loads or longer trips or with no breaks at all, or they are not protected by collective labor agreements, and employers are not legally obliged to pay the daily amount, the allowance in the certain amount. And very often they do not have the A1 form, and they have difficulties in case of need for medical assistance. I think it is important to mention also that they are employed by Romanian or European companies. And the European companies opened a company in Romania because they can benefit from the Romanian legislation, which is more relaxed comparing with the legislation in Europe. So they are not only abused by the Romanian companies but also by the European companies as well. They manifest fatigue, excessive smoking, irritability due to stress and loneliness. They are at risk of theft, accident, prolonged weekend stays, and during legal holidays, extreme weather. And they have very short delivery times, which increases the stress level. And they are exposed to high risks of accidents and occupational disease. This is why the NGOs in Romania and the trade unions welcome the regulations on the European level concerning posting of workers, which is not the case of the employers' organizations, who are very active in fighting against these regulations, and which are complaining that they don't have the freedom to develop their business as they wish in Europe.